Are you stuck in a bit of a sexual routine in your relationship? Or maybe you're lacking in confidence when you're with new partners. When you want to have better sex, where do you start? What do you change? In this video, we'll explore 3 ideas that might seem a little counterintuitive at first, but trust me, they can revolutionize your experience of sex and intimacy. I'm Libby Shepherd at Touch of Happiness Massage. I'm a body worker specializing in sensual touch, and I'm also an intimacy coach. I've worked with thousands of people to help them feel more relaxed, more connected, and more confident with sex, intimacy, and pleasure. So whether you're single and dating, or if you've been in a relationship for 5 minutes, 5 years, or even 5 decades, you've probably got some fairly ingrained routines and patterns for sex and intimacy. Those tried and tested ways of connecting that maybe you feel comfortable with, or that you know both you and your partner enjoy. But routines can get boring in long-term relationships, and if you're just sort of churning out the same tried and tested moves with every partner, it's a bit like putting ketchup on every meal. It's not always appropriate. Sometimes it ruins the dish, and eventually you'll get sick of it. So this might not jump out as the most obvious way to have better sex, but a piece of homework that I give to a lot of the couples I work with is do not have sex for at least 3 weeks. And most of them look at me as if to say, "What? Are you mad, Libby? How are we supposed to revolutionize our sex life without actually having sex?" And this highlights one of the, I think, biggest myths about intimacy, that sex equals penetration and a result or goal of ejaculation and peak orgasm. And if you only have that one-track approach to sex, of course it's going to get a little boring and repetitive. So this first tip is about exploring intimacy without the standard goalposts, letting go of the habits, assumptions, and patterns. Put the brakes on and explore without the need to achieve an outcome. What can also happen is that when you take away the pressure of having to have sex, you can explore with more freedom and playfulness. So this might look like an evening of just kissing, nothing else allowed. Remember when you were a teenager and you'd snog and make out for what seemed like hours? Explore that place. Make love to each other with your kisses. Clothes on, nothing more allowed. This can get so hot and steamy, or really vulnerable and tender. On day 2, it might evolve into touch focused on just one area of your body, specifically non-genital touch. You might notice that your sexual energy builds. Denial and limits can be such a turn on. And the challenge is not just giving in to instant gratification and that habitual myth that sex equals penetration. The key factor here is to explore something simple every day without the pressure or habit of that cock in pussy goal. You'll find that you have to get a little creative. You have to also use some self-control, but some self-motivation as well to try something new. After 3 weeks of no sex, but plenty of creative, playful, intimate connection, I guarantee you will have a whole new toolkit of ways to enjoy sex and intimacy. So do you remember the 2002 film 40 Days and 40 Nights, where Josh Hartnett's character chooses to abstain from any sexual contact for the duration of Lent? He ends up discovering a whole new experience of sex, relationships, and life. But contrary to the plot of that film, I am going to encourage you to stay connected to your sexual energy rather than simply going cold turkey. Although abstaining for the first 3 to 5 days can be helpful in keeping you out of that danger zone. Get as down and dirty as you want. Just don't ejaculate or orgasm on your clitoris. Simple. A great resource and community can be found via the 21-day challenge set up by the New Tantra. I'll pop a link in the description box for that. And as the name suggests, the idea is to challenge yourself to 21 days without peak orgasms. Rewiring your approach to pleasure in this way is an incredibly powerful thing. In particular, this can be an absolute game changer for guys. Retaining sexual energy by avoiding ejaculation gives you more vitality, more discipline, and more presence with your partner. It can also have hugely positive effects on erectile dysfunction issues and premature ejaculation issues. For women, when we stop squeezing and contracting into the thin corridor of pleasure that is clitoral orgasm, there can be amazing experiences of tension release in the pelvis, the vaginal walls, and the cervix, which opens up a whole new world of relaxed orgasmic sensation in the body. This tantric practice also creates a massively important shift in how you have sex. Instead of sex being something that you do to get something, i.e. an orgasm, it becomes an act where your shared intention is to surrender and open each other to the divine. Rather than sex being essentially two people using each other to masturbate to a finish line, you can open up the potential to discover each other in radical new ways. Regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, changing the way that you masturbate can change your life. If you're comfortable experimenting, playing, and challenging habits in your relationship to your own body and sexual pleasure, then it becomes much easier to apply the same approach to sex with a partner. So take time each week for some mindful solo sex. Take some space and privacy and give yourself a massage. Take a bath, play with a new sex toy, focus on exploring different sensations in one area of your body. Practice experimenting with how you breathe, what sound and noise can do to enhance your experience of sensation, what moving your body or taking different positions can do for your orgasmic pleasure. For some inspiration, check out my Masturbation Minis series here on YouTube or follow my top to toe video. If you're trying to reduce your dependence on porn and therefore be more present and aroused during sex with a partner, then watch my videos on quitting porn. If you really want to revolutionize your masturbation habits, you can sign up for my 8-week online course, An Introduction to Mindful Masturbation, and all those links will be in the video notes. If you've never tried it before, I highly recommend a shared masturbation session with a willing partner. This can be intensely vulnerable, intimate, edgy, and arousing. You might learn a thing or two about the way your partner likes to be touched by witnessing him or her during masturbation, and vice versa. The intention is not necessarily to perform for each other, but to be present with your own pleasure in the presence of another, to honour and acknowledge each other as sexual beings, free from shame, judgment, or expectation. So these are just 3 simple options to start playing with and experimenting with. Let me know in the comments how you get on, and remember to like and subscribe for more videos to help you have more pleasure, more intimacy and relaxation in your sex lives.